Good morning, it's Rebecca from Rebecca Inc. Today we are going to draw an otter. What you need to join along with me is a pencil, a marker, an eraser, and a piece of paper. So let's get started. You are going to start with your pencil. I'm going to use my marker so that you can see me better. I'm going to move my guide. You're going to have your paper going horizontally today. I'd like to thank Phoebe for the suggestion of doing an otter. I'm looking forward to seeing what you draw with me today. So make sure you send me your drawings in the comments below. Our otter is going to be in the water. So he's going to be laying on his back. You know how they do, and they're just so cute. So we are going to use a lot of circles and ovals today. So let's start in the upper right hand corner of your page, and let's get your whole arm going from your shoulder, and we're going to draw a nice oval that will be about this big. Now I am going around and around and around and around to make my oval. I'm moving my whole arm from my shoulder to arrive at that shape. You see how it goes in and out and around. It's kind of looking messy. Yours is going to look the same, and in the long run that won't matter, so don't judge yourself too harshly or try to be too perfect, because it's not going to be perfect. These are our guides. We will eventually erase all of them. Okay, let's add in another oval. We are going to make one just ever so slightly wider or longer. I don't know which way you would call that, but about the same width. So we're going to start at the top, make it go over a little wider, like that. This is going to be our otter's face. I'm making mine a little too wide, so I'm going to go in just a little bit. It's just going to live just outside your first oval. Let's move to the inside. In the middle of the oval that you drew, you are going to add a nice little circle right in the middle there, and above that an oval. To do the smaller shapes, if they feel too awkward moving your whole arm, you can plant your elbow or your forearm and just draw that shape with just the forearm of your arm, the front part of your arm. To do an even smaller shape, you can just move your hand. So from here, we're going to add a circle on this side and a circle on that side. So go ahead and draw a nice circle. I'm kind of using just my hand at this point, doing that same motion where I'm going around and around, getting the idea of the shape, and when I arrive at it, I'm setting my pencil down. You do the same. Let's do one on each side. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, and that can be our code. From there, let's add inside there another circle, just like that, a littler one. And on the other side, another circle, a littler one. For this, I'm planting my hand and I'm moving my fingers in that shape, getting those muscles involved, and then setting my pencil down once I've got the idea of the shape. Let's add in those arcs around the eye. I'm going to start on this side. I'm planting my wrist, and then I'm moving my hand in the natural arc that it's going to go in, just above that circle, and then the same thing below that circle. Just follow the natural arc. And then on the inside of that eye, let's add another little circle, a tiny one. That's going to be the highlight in our eye. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Plant your wrist, get your pencil down right at the arc of that eye, and move your wrist in the natural motion that it's going to go in, back and forth and back and forth. And then the same thing underneath, back and forth and back and forth. And on the inside, we're going to draw a little circle for the highlight of the eye. All right, let's move down to the nose and the mouth. We're going to add in an oval here and an oval here at the base of that middle circle, just like this. Nice little oval like that. And then on the other side, nice little oval like that. You're doing so good. Get your whole arm involved from your shoulder and go around and round. Set it down when you've got the shape. Underneath those ovals, let's add in a little bit, a hint of a smile, just like that. And below that, another hint of a smile. Let's use the top part of those ovals we just drew to help us get the cute shape of their nose. We are going to draw right in between those a fairly large triangle. Just like this. Now on my triangle, I normally try to get fairly straight lines there, but I'm going to arc them just a tiny bit by planting my wrist. Ooh, I don't want to move my paper so you can see. Plant your wrist and then just move it in the natural arc that it goes in. And then in the center of that, let's do a little oval for the highlight. And where our triangle meets up with our circles, instead of drawing a straight line across, we're just going to follow the tip of those circles, just like that, to get the shape of their cute little noses. All right, let's move back up and add one more detail on the face. We're going to add two little ovals, one here and one here. And when I say little, I mean little. Their ears are tiny, just like this. And inside that oval, we're going to do a little triangle, just like that. Can you see that? They're tiny. All right, on the other side, nice little oval in between those two face ovals, and on the inside, a little triangle, just like that. The triangle on the inside is long and skinny. Okay, now to move on to our body. From the edge of this outside oval for the face, we're going to come down and draw a nice oval, about like this, for that it'll be like from the shoulder to the elbow. So draw an oval about this size. You're getting your whole arm going from your shoulder, and you're going around and around and around, and by doing that, you're going to end up with a really nice shape of an oval. From there, let's draw from the elbow to the wrist, and it's going to go all the way over to the other side of his face. So we're going to overlap those, and he's going to go over like this. This is going to be from the elbow to our wrist, just like that. You're doing so good. Let's add on a hand. Now their little hands, our little guy's got his hand kind of cupped, so we're going to do it in the shape of a circle. So let's just add on a circle at the end of that hand, end of that wrist. So we went elbow to shoulder, shoulder to wrist, and then we added on a little circle for our hand. Next, we are going to draw the hand that's on the other side of his little tummy by adding in another circle. It's going to slightly overlap, and it's going to be about the same size. Now inside that circle, let's add an oval. This will give us a nice detail when we go to trace over with our marker. So our oval is going to take up about 3/4 of our circle. So go ahead and draw in a nice little oval like that. Plant your wrist, get your hand going in that shape, and when you're ready, set it down and draw your oval. All right, next up, the other arm. This arm is going down into the water, so we're going to draw it at this angle, and we're only going to see a tiny bit of it, so we're just going to draw an oval just like that. Let's add in a few connecting triangles here. If you've drawn with me before, you know I like to connect the shapes with triangles, so when we go to trace over it, it's easier for you to see. So let's add in a little connecting triangle from our head to our shoulder, just like that. And then from our head over to this other hand, we're just going to do the top little arc of a triangle, just like that. If we were to draw the whole thing, it would go like this. So you can see that connecting triangle right there. All right, now for the body. Our little otter is tucked in the water, and that rhymes. That's funny. Okay, so over here, starting over by this shoulder, we are going to draw an oval, and it is going to come down and around. Kind of go, if you can, over in front of the face and then cut over that arm. See how mine, I started up a little too high and I adjusted. Now is your chance to do that. You're using your pencil and you are doing a really nice light touch, just like that. Now on this one, make your arm go around extra times, nice and light, and do some wider parts of this oval as well, because we're going to use those to help give some indications of where the water is. So let that oval start this size and get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. My goodness, the sun's coming out. It's been pouring down rain. Okay, let's connect these shapes with a little triangle right here, just like that. And believe it or not, these are all of the shapes that we need to draw. Oh, hold on. We need to add one more. Up here on the face, let's make this circle that goes around this nose a little bit bigger. Let's add in that shape because that's going to give us some really cute fur. I'm just going to pull down a blind so you can see better. I was not expecting the sun to come out. Okay, so you've just added in that last little circle. Now you can set down your pencil and move over to your marker. Give me a heart if you are having fun, and grab your marker and let's go ahead and trace around what we've drawn. We've done all the heavy lifting. We've created all the guides that we need to give us a really cute otter. So you have a couple options here. I'm going to pull over my guide here. You can do your fur in that same motion that we did when we did the fox, where you do touch and flick like that. You can do your fur in that kind of shape, or you can do like when we did, I think it was the wolf, you can do kind of a back and forth motion like that. You can see on my guide, I did a combination of both because some of the fur is wet and some of it is dry. So go ahead and practice that for a second. This shape is just a simple plant your wrist, up and down and up and down and up and down, and then go the other way, up and down and up and down and up and down. And this one is a simple touch and flick, touch and flick. Neither one requires you to think too much. Don't overthink it. Don't make it something bigger than it is. Let's start on the face of our otter. In between these ears, we are going to do a combination of that back and forth and touch and flick. You decide what kind of fur does your otter have. I feel like the back and forth looks a little bit like he's got some wet fur, and the touch and the flick looks like he's got some dry fur. So we're going to do that across the top of the forehead, and when we get to the ears, we're going to go just around the top portion, and then we're going to fill in that little triangle that we drew. My marker's so thick it almost does it all in one line, and that's fine. It's just a hint. So go around that oval and then fill in your triangle on the inside. We're not going all the way around that shape, just the top portion. Now if you look at a picture of an otter, their face is a little lighter colored, and then that outside part of their head is darker colored. So we are going to trace around that inside oval that we drew, doing a combination again. Go in front of that little ear. You can do the touch and the flick, picking your favorite line that you've already drawn, and you're going to do a combination of the touching and the flicking and that back and forth and back and forth. Once you've got that side done, head on over to the other side. Go around. I'm doing the back and forth, and then at the bottom, I'm doing the touch and the flick. We're going to go all the way up to where those three circles meet. So actually I'm going to switch because my hand felt awkward there. I'm going to go up to that middle circle and then come down. You can do the same. If you're drawing and your hand feels like, I don't want to bend that way, you are welcome to move your paper. I'm really trying not to, but sometimes when I'm drawing on my own, I move my paper. I don't want to do that because I don't want to mess up what you can see. But you are welcome. Move your paper if you need to move your paper. Do a combination of those. I'm having a hard time talking this morning. Around the side and around this side, up to where those two circles meet. Now let's go in and add in that same little detail, this oval that we drew on his forehead. We're going to add in that same detail across the tippy top of that. Just go around that oval that you've already drawn. On this one, I'm deciding to do the touch and the flick, because I want that fur to look dry. You can decide however you want that to be. You can go over it a few times, make it a little thicker. That's up to you. This just gives it a little bit of personality. And now let's move on to the eyes. For the eyes, we are going to draw in that whole circle and then leave that center little circle blank. So it will look like a highlight. So go ahead and color in that whole circle. Fill that all in nice and black. Just like that. Can you see the little highlight there? Let's do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Then we're going to trace over the arc we had on the top and the little arc we had on the bottom and the arc we had on the top and the little arc we had on the bottom. Just like that. You're doing so good. If this is stressing you out, take a second. Take a deep breath, and then let's get back into it. Let's go around the eyes. We're going to go this direction on this eye and this direction on the other eye. So let's start on this eye, on the right-hand side, around the circle that you've already drawn. You're just going to give a couple hints of that fur there. Same thing on the other side, couple little hints, just a touch and a flick around the top of that eye. And then let's do the same around the base of that circle. Touch and a flick. And I'm angling mine away from the nose. And then on the other side, same thing. Angling them away from the nose. Now let's add in our nose. So we have this nice shape. It's got a curved base and then a slightly rounded triangle on the top. We're going to color all that in, and we're going to leave the little oval on the inside blank. So fill that in. If I color mine in faster than you can color yours, pause me. I will be here when you get back. All right, mine is all colored in. Now I'm going to add in a few more hints of fur around the top of this oval. Couple flicks, touch and a flick. I'm varying the sizes. Some are tall, some are short. And then I'm going to do the same thing around the base of this oval. A little bit of fur that lives here and a little bit of fur that lives here. Just a simple touch and a flick. Varying the sizes, varying the shapes. If I decide to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then over here on this oval, I'm going to add in just a few of those to give them a cute little detail. All right, once we have all of that done, let's go around the top part where we had that larger oval on his face. Let's add in that fur. So it's going to be the same thing. Pick your favorite oval that you drew, and it's going to be a touch and a flick and a touch and a flick around that side all the way down, just like this. You're doing great. Can you see it starting to come together? Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side, except this time we're going to go all the way around that oval to the connecting triangle, a little around that shoulder to the connecting triangle down to the base of this bottom oval. So we're going to do it a little further down. I'm picking my favorite oval, and I'm just touching and flicking, doing some up and down, all the way down to about there. Then you're going to stop. Let's add in our mouth. You know those little smile lines that we drew? The top one, we're just going to color that in. And then the bottom one, we're going to give a little hint of that mouth right there. And then now we're ready to move on to the body. So on this oval, this larger oval here that becomes the body, at this point, right under that mouth, we're going to add in some fur, and we're going to point it down so it almost looks like a chin. So just add in just a few little hints of fur right around that mouth. Now I angled one side going one way, the other side going the other way, just to give the idea of the rounded face. So you can do the same. Now let's add in the arms. We're almost done. We're going to go from right about here on this arm oval that went from our shoulder to our elbow. We're going to go right about here, halfway up. This would be about where his armpit is. And we are going to start tracing along, doing that same little back and forth and touch and flick, just like that. And we're going to add in, at the top here, another little line going the other way. imagine like a line of a triangle there. It's like the little crease of his armpit. Let's go from the elbow up to the wrist. And on this one, I'm letting my up and down and back and forth go both directions, and I'm making them smaller because this part is wet. So I'm just letting it kind of be a little bit of a crooked line. And I'm getting up to his hand, and I'm going to stop there and then just go around the hand. Just like that. And then around the other way. Heading back to his elbow, and we're going to stop just at his elbow. Pick your favorite parts of these ovals and trace around them. And when you get here, you're going to go up that arm just a tiny bit, up that part of the arm a tiny bit, and then shade in just a tiny bit. Can you see it? His little arm there? All right, moving on to the other side. Our hands have overlapped, so we are going to draw around this hand at the top and down a little bit. So go ahead and go around that hand, up and down and up and down, up and down and up and down. And I'm stopping where I've got any kind of hint of my base oval that is the body. I'm stopping there. We can always go back and add in a little bit more of that arm, depending on what's going to show. So let's add from there a little bit, a hint of the fur around that top arc of the hand and that inside oval. So we're just going to give a little detail right here, a little back and forth there, a little back and forth across the top of that hand, and also at the bottom of that hand, just like that. All right, last little bit around the body. Pick your innermost oval, and we are going to do kind of curving down toward the water, some back and forth. Make these longer and looser. They don't all have to match up. They don't all have to look exactly the same. And when you get over here, smooth it out and trace around a little bit of the oval that you've had drawn. Then let's move up to the belly. See where your oval intersects with the hands. Pick a spot right underneath that hand, and let's do the same for the fur up there. Right about here, I'm finding my favorite line, and I'm going a little bit around that oval. Then when I get right about here, I'm going to connect it nice and smooth. Just like that. I'm leaving a little gap on mine. You can fill it in all the way, or you can leave a little gap. I'm deciding to leave a little gap. I'm going to go back up on my arm because I want it to be a little fatter. You can do the same if you want. Look at yours. Do you want him to be a little fatter? Do you like the way he's looking? Fill in a couple extra details there that make you happy. And then let's go back up to this arm in this triangle, and then we're ready to add water. We're going to just go the rest of the way around that oval that connects down to the body, the back and forth for the fur. And then for our little triangle that connects the body back to the head, we're going to give a few little flicks for some fur there. All right, for the water. Remember how we went around and around on that body oval and we made a couple extra larger ovals? We're going to pick a few of those lines and give a hint that he's resting in some water. So go ahead and go around just a little bit of an oval. I am touching my marker down, following a little bit of that oval. I'm moving my whole arm. I'm not sketching because the water's nice and smooth. Little bit of my arm touching, setting it down and dragging it. Same thing around this side. We're going to go over a little bit of this oval here. Touch your marker down, drag it down. Pick one that's a little wider, same thing. And then let's do a few more right here, and you're done. All right, I'm going there and there. See how I'm staggering them? I'm just trying to give the hint of a ripple on some water with those. You have done such a good job. It is time to set down your marker and switch over to your eraser. You can use the end of a pencil, or if you have a pink eraser from school or a white eraser, grab an eraser. Now I'm going to switch back to my guide because I drew with markers so you could see it better, and I'm going to erase right along with you. Steady your paper so you don't crinkle it, and just start erasing. And you are going to see your cute little otter up here. I hope you had fun drawing with me today. Send me pictures of what you drew in the comments below. I can't wait to see them. I'll let them live here on my Facebook forever, and I'm also putting them up on my website. So you can find them on my website under Interact, the Interact tab. Again, you can find me on Facebook, Rebecca Ink, I-N-K, because I like to draw with ink. And you can find me on Instagram at RebeccaInkabink, and my website, RebeccaInkINK.com. On my website, you can find downloadable coloring pages that you can do, and you can also check out the Interact tab and see if you've sent me a picture of what you've drawn. It's on there. All right, thanks for drawing with me today. Stay home and stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.